Hi, everybody. This is Anne. Welcome to Life Beyond Blindness. This week's video is going to get into a subject that you have to kind of understand before you can understand how blind people use iPhones, iPods, iDevices, period. iDevices is the umbrella term for anything Apple or anything mobile Apple. iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch. This video is about a basic thing about all of those devices, and that is VoiceOver. First of all, what is VoiceOver? VoiceOver is the feature of the iDevice that reads the screen out loud for a blind person, tells the blind person what apps the cursor is on, allows the blind person to use the phone at all. How do you turn this feature on, you might ask? On your iDevice, you open the Settings app, then go to General, open that page, then open the Accessibility page, and finally, there's a VoiceOver section in the Accessibility section. That's Settings, Settings, General, Accessibility, VoiceOver. That, of course, defaults to off. By default, that is turned off because most sighted people don't need VoiceOver. It's so easy to turn on, though. You just have to switch it to on. A dialog box will pop up saying, "Are you sure you want to turn VoiceOver on? This will change the way your device behaves." Maybe not in those exact words, but that's what it says. If you are a sighted person, I will say, tell it yes at your own risk. It is true that if you are sighted and you are used to the way your iDevice functions without VoiceOver turned on, once you turn VoiceOver on, it will act possessed. Nothing you touch will activate. It just will not behave correctly for your use. Which is why a lot of times when I'm with sighted people and I'm saying, "Would you please enter this or that?" I will turn VoiceOver off. If I want a sighted person to manipulate my iDevice, I will turn VoiceOver off because once I turn VoiceOver off, it will act like any iDevice they've ever used. However, for a blind person, VoiceOver is a must because obviously we can't read the screen, we can't see what's on the screen. VoiceOver says it all out loud. Although, we have to be careful about when we say things like VoiceOver and screen readers, which are software programs on the computer that does the same thing that VoiceOver does, reads out loud what's on the screen. It doesn't read out loud everything that's on the screen, so we have to be careful when we say VoiceOver and screen readers read out loud what's on the screen. VoiceOver and screen readers read out loud the text that is on the screen. In other words, if you have an image, a picture, a scanned paper full of text, VoiceOver and screen readers will not read it. At some point, I will probably do a whole separate video on what screen readers can and cannot read. Because sometimes people think, well, I've got a scanner. You can get them on some printers, maybe even a lot of printers these days. I have a scanner. I'll just scan the page into the I'll just scan a page into my computer, attach it to an email, and ship it off to that blind person. They'll be able to read it. Not necessarily. That will come off as what'll happen is we'll open this attachment, and it will be, basically it'll be a picture frame surrounding this 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Voiceover and our screen readers cannot read inside that picture frame, so we really need text, outright text. I'll do a whole separate video on that probably, because that's something that we do come across pretty often. And I know this and a lot of things like it are just simply sighted people doing the best they can, but not understanding what our limitations are, which is part of the reason we have this channel, because I want to maybe help you guys understand not only that there is life beyond blindness, but that that as a sighted person trying to help the blind, there are some things that work and some things that don't work. And suffice it for now to say that you can't just scan a paper into your computer and attach it to an email and expect us to read it. We really need a Word document or a text document attached to that email, or just put the text in the body of the email. But we literally need the text. Not a scanned copy of the text, the actual text. I know it's tedious, but I'm asking you to type out what the text says. Well, I'm not asking you specifically to do it, but I'm just saying that an electronic copy of that text that is literally text, the words, plain and simple, is what we need to be able to read it with VoiceOver or our screen readers, which are the programs, the software programs that reads out loud what the text on the screen says, so that we can know what text is on the screen and therefore respond to emails, text messages, read a Word document, etc., etc. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to check on the time
Speech on
of this video.
Viewfinder, 7 minutes, 49 seconds.
Okay, I'm all right.
Speech off.
Well, you just heard VoiceOver there. I've had the speech off so that when I was talking, it wouldn't say video recording or whatever it says. But I just used VoiceOver there to find out how long this video was getting, because apparently there is such a thing as a YouTube video that's too long. I learned that the hard way on a different channel I have, which doesn't make sense to me, because you can have really long videos on YouTube. I've seen really long videos, and yet when I try to upload it from an iDevice, there is such a thing as a video that's too long. But that's not the topic of this discussion. The point is, VoiceOver is the part of an iDevice that reads out loud the screen for a blind person. Fortunately, that device, or that feature, does come standard on, I believe, all iDevices these days. It does not, by default, come on. You have to turn it on, which, for a blind person, unless you have some residual vision and are just able to use whatever residual vision you have to turn VoiceOver on, you may need sighted assistance on that. But depending on what kind of usable vision you have, and of course if you're totally blind, there's no doubt about it, someone sighted is going to have to turn VoiceOver on. But once VoiceOver is turned on, and once you know how to use VoiceOver, you can use an iPhone or an iPod Touch or an iPad just as well as a sighted person can do in some cases. I say in some cases because just because there's an app out there in the App Store does not necessarily mean it's VoiceOver accessible or VoiceOver friendly, or basically just because there's an app in the App Store doesn't always mean it and VoiceOver can work together. Unfortunately, there are apps that VoiceOver does not work with. If I knew how to put links into videos, I would link a website called applevis.com. That's applevis.com. As it is, I'll just say it on this video. On applevis.com is a lot of information, but there's an app directory on applevis.com, and it lists some apps that are accessible or that are somewhat accessible, or if it says the app is completely inaccessible, what that basically means is, okay, the more you need VoiceOver, the more you need to stay away from this app. It does not work well with VoiceOver. But if an app is put together properly to work with VoiceOver, it's amazing what blind people can do with their iPhone or their iPod or their iPad. I will try to do some demonstrations on this channel. Actually, I did a demonstration last week. Or was that just an overview? Anyway, I did something last week on an app that does seem to work pretty well with VoiceOver. These apps are just a part of my daily life, and I take it for granted so much I don't think about, well, I should do a demonstration on that for Life Beyond Blindness. So if you have any apps that you use and you'd like to see demonstrated, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. I will download them onto this iPhone 5 that I have really dedicated to this channel, and either try to use them, or if I've already used them, then of course I'll be really good and equipped to demonstrate them. If I haven't used them, I will download them, assuming they're free. I'm not necessarily inclined to spend a bunch of money on a bunch of apps to, a bunch of paid apps so that I can demonstrate them. I guess unless I get a lot of requests for them, then maybe it'll be worth it. But anyway, if you want to see me demonstrate an app, please let me know, and I will, like I said, either demonstrate it or download it myself, test it, see if I can use it, and if I can use it, I will demonstrate it, and if not, I may have to just announce that, I've gotten a lot of people asking me to demonstrate this app. I either don't know what I'm doing when I use this app, or this app just isn't accessible, or it might be a little bit of both, but at this point I'm not going to be able to demonstrate it. And in the meantime, please thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, like it, and subscribe to my channel if you are interested in learning about blindness and about what blind people can do and about how sighted people can maybe help blind people. Subscribe to my channel. You might just learn a lot. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Have a great day, a great week, and see you next time.